Everyone, you are listening to and perhaps watching Hot Sauce Sports. I'm your host, Peeze. I am joined soon by my co-host, Terry Tam.
Hi.
We're short again.
I don't have a headphones.
My God. So I feel like the reason why Duke wants us to have more employees is so that he could just work less. Because he's not here today.
Yeah, I mean, he's at home. He's having fun. He said he's going to spend some time with the wife. I understand. It's
Sexy
okay.
times.
Hopefully, we'll get him back next week, and hopefully we get Eagle back next week, and our shit show is over.
And then I'm gone in 3 weeks.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I was thinking of seeing if I can get like a few guest like interviews, but to come and replace you for the
That'd
episode.
be fun. That'd be fun. And I can call in as a guest from a hot tub in Atlanta.
Cool.
Oh, it's gonna be a rough night. It's gonna be a long night.
I don't think I missed one episode
I
since
don't
we
know.
started all this.
I'm not sure.
My headphones are really loud.
But so like the thing is, like, now and again I'll talk to people like, oh, I heard your last show and Duke was missing and Eagles was missing. Hey, they've been missing. But like, to be honest, we haven't. Most of us have not missed. Even Eagle, like, he's missed quite a few recently, but like,
Yeah, he's missed like 3.
but overall, like, in the 42 episodes,
Yeah, we've
he's
been pretty
there.
good.
He's been there for like 38 of them.
Yeah.
Duke's been here for 40 or so. And
I'm trying to think of
I
the amount of
probably
times
missed
I
the
fucked
most.
up the board, so that was like 5 times. So Eagles missed 5 times.
okay, that's fair. That's fair. But still, I mean, like, he had 5 days off an entire year. It's not
That's
bad.
it. Yeah,
It's not
exactly.
bad.
So how was your week?
Confusing. I had to deal with the fact that the Dolphins won, which we'll talk about later in the show. And I realized the NBA season is problematic for my gambling. It's
What do you-
problematic. There's too much.
What do you mean?
My heart rate is through the roof. There's too much. There's too many things happening. There's too many stimuli. I need to have money on everything.
That's it.
And then like between college, like right now there's college football, there's the NFL, there's fantasy football, there's the NBA. It's a gambler's paradise.
It is crazy. I don't gamble often, but I'll make a few bets here and there. So I made a parlay over the weekend for a few things, and I didn't win. So this is when I quit. So we're good. The mics are working.
Nice.
Checked.
Awesome.
So this is where I decide, hey, fuck this shit. I'm not gonna gamble anymore. But then I'll place a $50 bet here and there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just, to me, it's like if I'm up late and I see the Denver Nuggets playing against the Portland Trailblazers, I'll put $25 on a game.
Best thing is it's late and I'm tired. The game's about to start. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna fall asleep.
Yeah.
So I better put some money in this game.
Yeah, and I also always tell myself I need to watch more of basketball, more baseball, because I want to be more educated in terms of, like, I want to know more, right? So
this
So I put money on-
baseball postseason has me hooked.
oh yeah, this season
I now
less
care
than
about
last
baseball in
year's,
a
though.
way that I haven't in years.
So I got back into baseball when like really following baseball probably about 8 years ago, and it was when the Mets kind of they looked decent.
When they momentarily didn't suck.
When they had David Wright, one of my favorite players,
Yeah.
right? So David Wright, when they had Reyes,
He got
and
old so
Beltran.
fast, by the
Yeah,
way.
it was really weird. Beltran, like that Mets
Mm.
team. I love that Mets team. And
What was it? It was the core of the team that went to the World Series.
LaDuca. Oh no, that was the couple years later when
That's
they
what
had
I'm saying.
Thor.
It was
yeah,
that core
most of
that
those guys,
that
exactly. Yeah.
eventually took Matt Harvey when he didn't suck, and Thor and
That's
a
it.
couple
Yeah.
other guys and got to the finals. Like,
Yeah, and that was
And,
that was a devastating loss.
and Familia was a good closer for a second.
Yeah, Jairus Familia.
Yeah.
He was good for a while. So I forced myself to kind of watch basketball, and the other day it was the Clippers against the Jazz, and the Jazz was paying out like 2.7, like it was the odds were 2.7. So I
Mhm.
put $50 on the Jazz. I lost that bet
Yeah.
because the Clippers are fucking good.
Home underdogs is what you look to bet
Yeah,
on
home
in the
dogs
NBA.
for sure. But I always play money line. I don't really play the.
Okay.
I don't play the spreads. So the Clippers are fucking good. That's all. I watched that game and I realized how good Kawhi actually is.
So, a weird thing about Kawhi Leonard is he got very close to single-handedly dismantling the Warriors,
Yeah.
and then Zaza
Very
Pachulia injured him,
Yeah.
and then he was out for a year. So because they lost in that conference final, and
Yeah.
because he then took a year off, people forgot how good he was. There's an NBA Finals, if you look back, when the Heat were playing in San Antonio, and San Antonio ultimately won that series. Kawhi checked back into the game,
Yeah.
and you see LeBron mouth the words, "Fuck."
Oh yeah, but apparently, so he denied it. He said like it wasn't because of that.
Well, then the stats disagree with you.
That's
Because the one guy who's been the LeBron stopper in LeBron's career has been Kawhi Leonard. Like the guy, the thing is, when
everybody
people-
has an Achilles, right? And
But when
that's
everyone,
LeBron's.
but when people analyze basketball, and the thing is, defensive basketball is difficult to understand. People will never appreciate how great Chris
Yeah.
Bosh actually was
Yeah.
when he went to the Heat, because in the box score, he just became the third scorer on that team. But what he added to that team on defense was insane. His ability to defend, LeBron gets credit for defending all five positions, but his ability to like defend in and out and close out on perimeter shooters as a big was absolutely insane.
It was crazy.
And Kawhi is one of these guys too who just has such an impact on the defense, and over time has become such an incredible offensive threat. And I don't know if I mentioned
a nuts offensive threat.
I don't know if I mentioned it this week, but last week, but I believe it was Amin Al Hassan, a former NBA executive, now with ESPN, often on Le Batard Show. On Le Batard Show last week, said he made the comparison that when he was watching him, he felt as though he was watching Michael Jordan in the latter half of his career. In that Michael Jordan was not as explosive, but still had that ability to make you just. Third quarter of a game, you know what? I'm making the next 8 shots. And that's Kawhi has that sort of like ability to do that.
I guess. I mean, thing about Kawhi is that everything doesn't have to go through him. But when he makes it about him, when he makes
that's what I'm saying.
When he
decides to take over a game.
when he's like, oh, no, I'm bringing the ball up. Like, I'm going to bring it up. Let me do it. That's where the
and we saw that in the finals. Like, that's like he became a hero across Canada because of his ability. Just again, third quarter, fourth quarter, okay, that's cool. It's cool that now you guys are taking away the third shooter on the team.
That's it.
Now there's nobody who can guard me, and that's what he literally can get off every shot. His body is always in control. He can rise up over defenders and make shots. He can get to the basket when that's available. He has such a wide range of ways that he can attack the defense.
Yeah, he's the most versatile player we've seen in a while. Him and LeBron James for sure. Right?
LeBron looks so good, by the way.
He does look very good.
Jesus Christ. We'll get to the NBA recap in a second.
But I think that he's like, this is going to be the year. It's like I have to really make my legacy, and I think he's going to work his fucking ass off. He's still one of the best players of all time, so we'll see.
We had to do a remake of Demolition Man. Who are the two playing? Who's playing the lead? Who's playing the bad guy?
So
if you're choosing NBA players.
I'm also going to break your heart and tell you I've never seen Demolition Man. Everybody makes that face to me.
Because it's so good.
Everybody makes that face.
It's so good.
I have no idea what it's about. Who was telling me to watch Demolition Man?
Everybody.
I think it was my sister-in-law.
Okay, so pick another Jean-Claude Van Damme joint.
Double Dragon?
Double Dragon. Who's playing hero? Who's playing the other dragon?
So who's the nemesis of the main guy, basically?
And who's the main guy?
Who's LeBron? Okay, so I'm going to say I think Westbrook is the nemesis of...
So mini boss is Joel Embiid?
Maybe. I'm going to say, yeah. Or no, I'll say Westbrook is the nemesis to Kevin Durant.
Right? I can see it.
Yeah, like I just feel like they never really clicked
There's not
together.
a lot, but that feels like a movie where they
played together for a bit.
They choose a lead that they don't like. People don't like.
Yeah.
People are weirdly reacting to Sarah Connor being the lead in the new Terminator movie. Like, she's kind of always been a main character. Relax.
So is there a respect between these two people? Is there a mutual respect?
There was,
okay.
and then there wasn't, but I don't know where it is
So
now.
KD and Westbrook. That's exactly what it is to me. Or KD and Curry, and we'll talk about that later and why.
We'll get to that soon once we get to the news.
All right, whatever. Well, I don't even know what the music is. It's like a one of those ones.
Terry, it's the news. So many things happening. The NFL's been nuts. The fucking Dolphins, man. Like,
They won.
you
should be happy.
No, why would I be happy?
Because they beat the Jets. The Jets also have a win.
So I was happy that Adam Gase lost to the Dolphins.
It's a good.
I don't know if
it's
you
a
know
win-win
this
for
about
you.
me. I'm not a fan of Adam Gase. I don't know if that's been clear.
I don't-
Together.
It wasn't clear in the video I edited where I replaced your face with his face.
That was awesome. I really enjoyed that. That was awesome.
I made it sure so it placed it on your shoulders. It looked exactly like you. And it's your boy. You love him.
I hate him. I
You
hate him
love
so much.
You love him. You hate to love him.
Nope. I hate all of that kind of
Or you
football.
love to hate
It's
him.
the most cowardly version of football that exists.
He's supposed to be some offensive genius, and he can't figure it out.
I can call screens and slants too.
Yeah, exactly.
No problem.
Yeah, easy. Screen, slant.
Yeah, just say
That.
those words. Just say those words.
So
It just-
he's. I gave him way too much credit at the beginning of the year. I really did, and he'll be gone at the end of the year.
So
gone.
what's interesting is the guy who's in charge
And
of
Jim
the
Harbaugh's
organization,
coming in.
maybe, but the guy who was in charge of the organization didn't want Adam Gase,
Mm-hmm.
and then the owner hired Adam Gase.
Yeah.
Then
Adam
Adam
Gase didn't
Gase
want
didn't
Le'Veon Bell.
didn't want Le'Veon Bell, but the guy who was in charge of the organization
Yeah.
got Le'Veon Bell, and now that guy's been fired,
Yeah.
and Adam Gase has been promoted to head coach and GM, and has
And
since
GM.
done nothing with this ability.
He didn't make a trade.
Correct.
He didn't make a trade. What's the point of taking over as GM if you don't even improve your team by a little bit, by a draft pick?
Mm-hmm.
He didn't do anything.
Well, he didn't improve his team by draft pick because they lost the Dolphins, so that's going to
That's a
help.
very
him out
good point. So
painfully.
he'll drop down.
The Browns are just a mess. That's another game the Dolphins might win, by the way, now that the Browns are literally one game worse than the most talent deficient team I've ever witnessed in my 37 years of watching football.
Bengals.
No, the Miami Dolphins.
Miami Dolphins. So the Browns are the joke of the NFL. And the reason why they're the joke of the NFL is because they put so much pressure on themselves. It started with Hard Knocks from last year.
But did they put the pressure, or did the media put the pressure?
Put all the pressure. And media, the only thing that the media can do is attach themselves onto a story.
But they
don't create the story.
No, but they created a story where Jarvis Landry guaranteed a win against the
Okay, so they
Patriots,
can make
which
up
he did
shit.
not, by the
Yeah,
way.
yeah,
I heard
no.
the full quote. He did not.
No. So they can make up
People
stories.
hate Baker Mayfield, which is like he's a guy who's confident.
So I wrote a blog about it on Hot Sauce.
Yeah,
And it's a sophomore year.
yeah.
A lot of quarterbacks have bad sophomore years.
It's hard because
You're playing against men.
men who've spent months watching what you've done,
Yeah.
and now you need to adapt.
That's it.
And look, Nick Chubb looks the part.
But he always has a chip on his shoulder because he was drafted first overall ahead of Lamar Jackson. You know what I mean?
So I said the year of that draft, I thought Lamar Jackson was the most talented football player.
who got drafted in that
Rosen got drafted.
Josh Rosen. Yeah. There was 4 picks.
There's
quarterbacks.
There's 3. He was the fourth quarterback drafted.
Okay. Lamar Jackson?
Lamar Jackson was the fourth quarterback drafted,
Oh.
and
Ahead-
Baltimore traded back to get.
Yeah, I remember
Lamar
that.
Jackson.
They traded up a few picks. But who was
I was happy because when it was
If only
announced,
we had something that could
I was
tell us.
sure it was the Dolphins. By the way, because there was someone who tweeted. There was a Miami reporter that tweeted that he had heard that Miami was inquiring about going back into the first round to trade to draft Lamar Jackson,
Yeah.
and instead it was the Ravens.
Amazing. So he got drafted in 2018. I'm gonna try and find that draft because I'm very curious. But just to say is that he's one guy. I don't know who it was. Said he should. Oh, Bill Polian.
Bill Polian. That's the thing I was going to bring him next.
Yeah, he said he should have been a receiver.
I
And he,
wonder what he's thinking about it. Why could he think that a guy who's played quarterback his entire life is probably a good receiver?
'Cause he's very
What do these
fast.
two guys not have in common?
and Lamar Jackson's probably like, I've literally never played receiver.
Yeah,
before."
like when you look at his frame, does he look like a receiver to you?
No, absolutely not.
No, you would die.
Oh, yeah, he would die. He would hard. He's built like a very thin quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's put on mass. In his credit, he's put about 15 pounds of mass on,
That's it.
which is awesome. His accuracy's improved immensely. The
Sam
offensive
Darnold.
system.
So Baker Mayfield, then Sam Darnold, then Josh Allen,
Sorry,
then,
fifth.
then Josh Rosen, and then he got taken 32nd in the first round. He was the 5th quarterback in the first round taken that year, behind Josh Rosen.
So Rosen had a lot of hype coming out of college. Josh Allen was a questionable draft pick.
But just to
At
say
the time.
is that people don't really, they'll jump on stories, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the media jumps on stories. The media doesn't create the story. They attach themselves to a story, and then ESPN will talk about it, and then Fox will kind of like that angle. They'll talk about it.
ESPN does, and like we've been guilty of this too.
No, but just to
ESPN
say
does a
how it
thing where
works.
they say a thing,
Yeah.
and then they have a show later that reacts to them saying a thing.
Yeah, true.
And then they have an article about the guy who
Say-
reacted to they said the
Say
thing.
the thing.
And then
The
Stephen A.
article
Smith
about-
screams at everybody.
That's it. Yeah, and he laughs like Cowboys fans.
Yeah, because you
But
deserve it.
but it happens every year. There's always a sleeper in the draft, right? I mean,
Mhm.
so the Ravens lucked out.
But so here's the thing. I remember watching him play because I said, "There's something here. This was exciting."
Yeah.
And I remember watching him and said, "I don't understand why people are saying he can't play quarterback at the next level."
Yeah.
In that I saw him make a lot of downfield throws. I saw the explosion, the explosiveness, the speed is obviously impressive. But also, like, we live in an Adam Gase NFL where coaches just call slants and screens anyway,
Hooks and
right?
Slants, hooks
So
and slants all day.
The thing is, watching what Harbaugh has done with this quarterback who's so different from what he's had with Joe Flacco from
Yeah.
years and years and years. And there's so many stubborn coaches who need to implement their system, regardless of who's running their system. To see a guy who's got as much street cred as Harbaugh take on a guy like Lamar Jackson and say, no, we need to change everything we do. Draft 2 receivers in Miles Boykin and
he
Hollywood
changed
Brown.
his offense like towards the end of the year last year.
Mhm.
He changed his offense almost completely to the point where like we adapted to him. He's our new
Absolutely.
guy. We're gonna adapt to him.
They got Mark Ingram, one of the most versatile running backs in the league.
Absolutely.
They drafted Justice Hill, again, receiving back.
Earl Thomas.
That's on the defense side of the ball, but on offense, this is a team that never really invested draft
Yeah.
capital in building on skill position players.
For years, they've always been a defensive team.
Okay,
Always.
Steve Smith, Senior, right?
Yeah, I love
You want to laugh at Joe Flacco? Name a second receiver he's thrown to in his career. Name one. Go.
I know now. I'm just not
Rocket Ishmael, was he a guy?
No, Jones, Jacoby Jones had a
Really,
couple, had a
Jacoby
couple,
Jones.
Torrey Smith had a couple good years, but I'm agreeing
These are-
with you.
but
I'm
these are
proving
guys
your
who-
point.
I
here.
know. And these are guys who left and did nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
You know, and they actually went out and they spent draft capital on guys
Yeah.
who can make an absolute difference. Hollywood
But they
Brown,
were,
Miles
they were
Boykin.
always a run first, play defense well. Like they were
But
always
it's not
that.
it's not even just run first. It's the way they've incorporated, the RPO, the way they've incorporated.
Oh no, I'm saying that
uh,
now. I'm saying what they're doing now is obviously you've adapted to Lamar Jackson. I'm saying that they've always been a team that focused on defense and running
Yeah.
the ball, right? So that's why
And Joe
they didn't
Flacco
go
throwing
after
the ball to get a
receivers.
defensive pass interference.
That's it exactly.
He was the best,
the best
at
at
attracting
that.
defensive
And now
interference.
you can challenge it, like you said.
Yeah.
So
he's
done.
he's benched.
Love, but made 100 million. Made 100 million. Take his money right to the bank.
Absolutely, and it's I found that statement to be bizarre when it came out. Bill Polian actually came out this week and
He
apologized.
retracted it. Yeah.
He said
He said I was
basically
wrong.
that the way he evaluated Lamar Jackson was based on old metrics
Yeah.
that no longer play in the NFL. I wonder what that metric is, Terry.
I wonder what that metric is. The old metric is that Bill Polian still wears his reading glasses when he's coaching,
Mm-hmm.
and he is a old fart.
Yeah.
But at least he retracted it. At least he's like, I'm wrong. That is what it is.
Absolutely.
Some guys will be like, well, if you played receiver, you probably could have been a lot better. But the guy's he's putting 40 points a fucking game. You know what I mean?
It's
He's very impressive.
It's
I hope
impressive.
it lasts. I hope it lasts and he doesn't fizzle away.
what I think is
I really hope he's the Michael Vick, and Michael Vick without the off the field problems.
correct
'Cause Michael
nobody
Vick was-
wants dogs to be killed.
That's it. Michael Vick was very generational, and so was Lamar Jackson. Nobody can run and throw as well as those two guys did. It's
And
been
the
a
amazing thing
while.
with Lamar Jackson is when the ball leaves his wrist, it looks like he just flicked his wrist and it's
Yeah.
going 30 yards downfield.
He's actually Steve Young.
Yeah, I can see that.
He's Steve Young. He's Steve Young. Michael Vick is.
Oh, you're saying that you're capable
Yeah.
of comparing a person to another person based on skill set and not skin color?
Yeah,
That's amazing.
I guess I just did it.
Jesus, that's possible?
But yeah, so Michael Vick was very generational. We'd never seen, and we still haven't seen anybody like Michael Vick to throw the ball 80 yards and move the way he does. Maybe Mahomes is similar to him,
Yeah.
just because of arm strength, and he's able to he sees the entire field.
And
But Lamar
thing,
Jackson is very much like Steve Young.
the thing that I saw in terms of Mahomes as compared to Michael Vick, to your credit, is Mike Vick was always excellent at delivering the ball from different arm angles,
yeah.
different platforms. His
Yeah.
feet didn't have to be set.
He saw the entire field.
Pat Mahomes is great at that too.
Yeah, they both see, they can see past the first down marker, past what the play was supposed to give them. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
They see
sometimes
past
you
that
need to
stuff.
look at something and see beyond what's initially prevalent. For example, Bill Polian
But they
could
also
benefit from seeing beyond what's
maybe
initially
get some better
prevalent.
glasses.
Yeah.
And don't keep them down here. they should be in front of your eyes in order to see, right? Maybe
Right.
that's the metric he was using, not glasses,
Or race.
because glasses didn't exist back then, right? Or race.
Just a monocle, a single monocle.
But just to say is that what they have, what skill set that they have that separates them from the rest is that they're able to move. Steve Young was able to move. Tony Romo was able to move. Donovan McNabb was able to move. So a lot of successful quarterbacks that made crazy plays that were clutch in certain moments are able to move. And now, if you look at every quarterback in the NFL, every starting quarterback that deserves to be there, Flacco excluded, can move the ball with their feet except for Tom Brady.
Even like we talk about the Dolphins. Even Ryan Fitzpatrick's a decent athlete. Like guy,
Of course.
the guy can carry the
The guy's
pocket
been in
if
the
he
league for
needs to.
10 years.
Yeah.
And he's repeatedly been signed as a backup and won starting positions. So, I mean, you got to give the guy credit where it's fucking due.
He's so good at not being as terrible as your other guy.
That's it, exactly. That's exactly true.
I would hate to go to a bar as a single guy and Ryan Fitzpatrick's there because like
yeah, I mean,
he
he's
just
going
has
to take
to
all the
be
chicks.
not as good, not as terrible as me, right? And he
Exactly,
just cleans
yeah.
up. He just cleans up.
It's like you'll be doing like some shitty dance move and he'll be doing like some above average dance move.
Yeah, he'll walk
And
in there and be
then
like, intercepted. I'm like, no, you're supposed to throw the interceptions.
That's your job.
That's your job. Damn you, Fitzpatrick.
So, yeah. So, Lamar Jackson's like Michael Vick.
The Trent Williams situation in Washington is
So
bizarre.
stupid.
I don't know what to make
So
of
I
it.
don't. So
I've had issues with the Washington franchise for a long time.
our words.
The
The Rayskins.
the Rayskins.
Yeah.
But also like there's no team in the last 5 years that has had as many players on injured reserve by a long shot.
Yeah. So is that a testament? Is that bad? Is that the organization's fault?
So I don't know because
How can you blame an organization for Alex Smith tearing his ACL?
okay, that one, but like
You know what I mean?
how can
This
it be that
situation's very
Darius
different.
guys
Yeah.
cannot get on the field?
I don't know what's going on with him.
How could it be that Trent Williams
He was picked.
is complaining
100%
is complaining that you didn't treat his cancer properly?
But they told him it's nothing. From what I
yeah.
read, they're like, oh yeah, that's nothing.
You know what's the opposite of nothing? Fucking cancer.
Dying is not
Literally,
nothing.
Here's a good campaign. You want to collect money you want to raise money against, to help prevent cancer, help treat cancer. Here's the thing: opposite of nothing, cancer. Give us money. That's
Give
a
us
great campaign.
It's a good T-shirt. Opposite of nothing, cancer.
There we go.
So he's like, I had cancer for 6 years,
That's insane.
but like, I guess it was benign. It would have grown, right?
I
Everything I read on
But-
it,
but-
he's
but
it's
how-
not life threatening.
but how did he have that growth only removed now?
Because they're dumb. Because Dan Snyder is probably the worst owner
He
in
is.
sports.
He is.
In sports,
Absolutely.
I don't.
The fact
know-
that Bruce Allen is still the GM of that team.
I don't know what else he has to do. Like, he's the owner; he can do whatever the fuck he wants.
Well, Donald
If he
Sterling,
wants
Donald Sterling was the worst owner in sports.
No, but the thing about Donald Sterling, he's not the worst owner in sports because he said one stupid
No,
thing.
those other things. He would parade around his players at parties where they were the only non-rich white people, and so told them to take off their shirt and show their muscles. There's so
Okay,
weird
so-
stuff with Donald
so-
Sterling.
so
He was
I-
very racist.
I always quote Bill Burr. Okay, Bill Burr has a very good bit about Don Sterling. You can't blame him for thinking the way he does.
okay.
You can penalize him.
Yeah,
he
they
did.
did.
They was penalized, fine, right?
Yeah.
But you can't blame him because that's how he was raised, like the Manchurian Candidate. You know what I mean? He says like, yeah, no, for real. It's what it is. It's like you going to church. You just repeat the same thing. Say what we say when we say it. No, it's like the whole thing. So he was raised in that. It's like the guy from the Duck Dynasty. He doesn't know. He's not. There's no progressive way of thinking for the Duck Dynasty guy.
I mean, I guess, but you would hope for more for someone who runs, multi-billion-dollar organization.
And predominantly hires black people.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
In a league where they don't even refer to ownership as owners anymore because they recognize the
it could be. It
the
could
league
be,
is mostly.
So what do they refer to?
I
them
don't
as?
remember the facilitators or something,
Facilitators. Okay.
something like that, or partners or
Progressive.
yeah, absolutely.
But you can't think progressively thinking when this guy was still married and he had this girlfriend that was parading Magic Johnson around, apparently. That was the thing. It was Magic Johnson. You can't take pictures on Instagram. All he did was ask her not to post on Instagram.
yeah,
And he got fired for it.
well, I mean,
But he also made a nice coin on it too. He got bought out basically by
Yeah.
the league. Yeah.
well, they forced him out.
Yeah.
And he got forced out by the Ballmer is such a rich owner.
I love Ballmer.
Apparently,
I love that guy, man.
but apparently he's so rich he could, if he bought the 15 most valuable NBA franchises. Steve Ballmer would only have spent a quarter of his
worth?
It's
But what else is he?
insane.
What
I
else does he
don't
do?
know.
For
But
sure,
I-
casinos.
I remember it was who's that ESPN guy who covers the all the business stuff.
The ESPN guy. I don't have no idea.
Barstool's always making fun of him.
Oh, Clay Travis?
No.
Greenberg?
No, I don't remember. But
Gottlieb?
he only tweets out business related stuff.
I think it's Greenberg.
I don't remember.
I
But
think it's Greenberg.
I saw that and I was like, that's insanity.
Oh, no.
Tip of the tongue,
He
right?
got fired, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, whatever. Either way, it doesn't matter. I'm looking up Steve Ballmer's net worth.
It's nonsense.
53.3 billion.
Yeah. Billion.
He's married to Dan Snyder's sister.
Oh.
No, I'm kidding. It's Connie Snyder. Maybe. Could be. I want to look at his Wikipedia.
Do you know any other Snyders?
No. Schneider's Turkey.
Schneider's
He went to
Hanover
Harvard.
pretzels.
He went to Harvard and Stanford.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Neither of us could get
Obama was
either.
hired by Bill Gates at Microsoft in 1980 and subsequently left in his MBA program, Stanford University. He became the CEO of Microsoft.
That'll do
He
it.
replaced Gates when Bill Gates stepped down because of that whole what was the controversy that he had?
He was friends with Donald Sterling.
No, it wasn't that. He had like I forgot. I saw his documentary too. I'm just it's at the tip of my tongue. But anyway, so it's Microsoft.
There we go.
His
I
time
knew
as
it- I knew it was
Microsoft
a second
CEO was
industry, I
mixed.
just didn't want to misspeak.
That's crazy, man. Crazy. Anyway. But I like Ballmer. He's yelling. He's kind of like a cheap version of Mark Cuban, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not cheap. He's
Well,
the
no,
richer
but-
version
I mean,
of Mark
he's-
Cuban.
Yeah, exactly.
Mark Cuban is the poor Mark Cuban.
And it's crazy. You think about
'Cause
Mark
he's
Cuban,
very
the
rich.
amount of money he has.
Yeah. Although Mark Cuban had a chance to like be a majority shareholder for Uber and didn't.
You know what? You're gonna miss opportunities.
Yeah, that's a big one.
That's fine.
Well, but like to be fair, Kevin Hart was famous for also not investing in Uber,
Yeah.
and his thing was like. He said, well, because why the fuck would I get in somebody else's car?
Which is very smart.
Yeah, I mean, it made sense,
If
right?
you think about
made
it, yeah.
sense. It
Why
made
would I
sense.
get into somebody's car that didn't pay for a badge, didn't pay for any of that stuff?
Now that's all I do.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm gonna do. Is I'm gonna start Ubering
Yeah.
now that I totaled my car. You know?
Yeah, that's awful, man.
It is what it is. What are you gonna do?
Yeah. The NBA has been off to a bit of a strange start.
Weird.
What's happening in Golden State?
I want to find all these injuries. Actually, I had seen
So
an
Golden
article.
State is already coming into the league with an injury to Klay Thompson. They have an injury to Steph Curry, and now Draymond Green is out as well. Who's even on that team anymore? Can you and I play for the Golden State Warriors?
I would never be able. And
'Cause, yo,
D'Angelo
what's
Russell was injured last game too. He didn't even play.
I mean,
No,
that's
but just to
fine.
say, like, who did they have? They had playing against Houston. I was watching the game. They had nobody playing. Like, I didn't even recognize the names.
All I'm saying is, look, Golden State. Once in a while, I can put it up. My shot gets wet. I can be wet. Give it a shot. You don't have much else to lose because your team is going to be dreadful.
Brooklyn has DeAndre Jordan and Kevin Durant out.
That's right. Well, Kevin Durant's not playing though.
No, but they're out. Like, I'm just
Yeah.
saying the injuries wise, right? Detroit has Derrick Rose, Blake Griffin, Frazier.
Oh, Derrick
Gold-
Rose is injured. That's
Yeah.
interesting. That
But
never
no, he
happened
played
before.
last games. I think he's just on the injury report. That's
He
it.
will be there for most of the season.
Okay, but the Golden State Warriors: D'Angelo Russell, Looney, Green, Curry, Evans, Thompson. 6 players.
So those are the only players.
So
we
if
know.
Steve Kerr wins 35% of those games,
Coach of the year,
Coach of the Year.
yeah,
Coach of the Year.
he's gonna have to suit up and start hitting threes.
Pacers aren't that far off. Turner, Lamb, Badatse, he's a rookie. He hasn't played. Summer and Oladipo. It doesn't hit them as hard, but still. Clippers, George. Lakers, Rondo, Bradley, and Cousins.
But
Iguodala's out.
you know what? You know who looks impressive considering his injury history? Dwight Howard looks rejuvenated.
So he
in-
looks great.
In
He looks very good. And I think that he doesn't have to play that role, like the big role. He's just like, I'm going to play
he needs
15
to
minutes
be
a game,
there
and that's it.
to start the game and in the end of the fourth
That's
quarter.
it, exactly. Exactly. And we even said at the beginning of the year, when he signed with them, we said that this is what he needs to do, and he needs to accept that role. Carmelo Anthony has still not accepted that role, and that's why he's not on a team yet.
There's also the fact that teams have now the expectation that players need to play some level of defense. 'Cause
Simmons,
especially when you're on second unit, you need to play defense.
Simmons, Gasol, Collins, Bagley, John
rough.
Wall, all these, like, so many fucking injuries. everywhere.
John Wall, I don't think John Wall will play again.
No?
The only reason he's on that roster is his contract is insane.
So they can pay him. Man.
He's just he's gonna get to a point where they're gonna have to buy him out because
That's true.
there's something up. There's something, and physically when you see him, like I remember seeing him and seeing this guy is just an elite athlete.
Yeah.
Like Russell Westbrook style. This guy, like I consider Russell Westbrook to be the best athlete in the NBA, the fastest, strongest, jumps the highest, just pure athleticism. Not the best player, the best athlete.
Yeah, I can say that. Westbrook's probably one of the best athletes in sports.
Yeah, exactly. That's what John Wall was when I first saw him play in college.
Oh yeah.
And
But he was nice for Duke.
But he just,
Was it Duke or Kansas?
He's starting to look like me.
Was it no? Kemba Walker played for Duke.
He played for
Kansas. Kansas State.
No, he played for Calipari,
Kentucky.
Kentucky.
So yeah, but yeah, I agree with you. John Wall was something different to see back then.
And I just was like, okay, this guy's gonna be transient talent, incredible.
He was at first.
He was, and then okay, he doesn't look himself. He's been hurt, and then just the injuries have been piling up, and he just doesn't. He looks like Dion Waiters. He looks like a guy who doesn't take care of himself.
Exactly. That's a good one. But some guys just have that injury bug, like Derrick Rose too, man. It's just some Alex Smith.
Well, Derrick
Tony Romo.
Derrick goes with some bad luck, and then he just got old, right?
Yeah.
Like
And you
how
can't
much
recover
older
as
is Derrick Rose than John Wall?
Not that much older.
But it's at least 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, okay. I guess in basketball years it's a lot, but
Yeah.
in regular years it's not.
But
It's such a tough game, man. So it's like
it's a very physically demanding game.
it is. You're banged up a lot, so you got to take your time off if you can get it off.
Like here's the thing: people don't realize how much wear basketball has. Do me a favor.
You're playing 82 games.
82 times a year. Jump 100 times. You tell me what you feel like
Tell me if your knees and your hips aren't on fire after.
all the time in your lower back.
Yeah. Oh my god. I played
fire.
ball hockey on Monday for an hour, and my lower back was tightened up like a fucking rigor mortis had set in.
So you can see what the issues with John Wall are.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's
Me
been
and John Wall, same person.
It's been a season full of injuries. KD had an interesting week in the media because that's what he does.
I know the list. Yeah. You know the list?
He didn't include Steph Curry in his top 5.
So he made a top 5 list. Do you know what the list is?
I don't remember.
Kyrie Irving.
That's your opening to.
Yeah, Kyrie
Well,
Irving.
obviously he's gonna say that they're buddies
Obviously,
now.
LeBron James,
Okay.
Joel Embiid,
Fair.
James Harden, and Damian Lillard.
So to include James Harden in that list, James Harden is the best scoring 2 guard in the history of the NBA. Sorry, Kobe, it's no longer you.
No, from the baseline, from the free throw line, sure, yeah.
But he gets there.
But I don't know.
Okay, but so last season, we talked about it on this show. Last season, 3/4 of the way through the season, if you removed all of his free throws, he was still the top scoring player
That's
in
impressive.
the NBA.
No,
That's
I don't want to
insane.
take anything away from him. I guess I was more of a Kobe era kind of guy. So
Agreed. I'm
Yeah.
not saying he's a Laker fans. Chill. I'm
yeah,
not saying
relax.
I'm not saying he's a better player than Kobe. I'm saying he's the best scoring 2 guard.
Is
That
pretty-
includes Michael
legit.
Jordan. That includes Kobe Bryant.
like a pure scorer. Like
Pure
he doesn't,
scorer.
He doesn't do anything else.
Correct.
He's a terrible defensive.
I believe it was Stan Van Gundy who coached him. No, it was Mike D'Antoni. Mike D'Antoni coached James Harden in the past, coaching him now.
Yeah.
Had said that he talked about watching film,
Yeah.
and he would literally watch himself get caught in a pick and roll, and then be completely surprised that somebody
behind
came
him.
behind him, someone cut behind him.
Completely surprised. Shocking.
But
It's like as if you never played basketball.
yeah,
before.
that's what happens on the
It's
pick
also
and
it's
roll.
also a very basic move. Everybody runs pick and
But
roll.
they people run that.
It's the
on
first
him.
thing. It's the first thing you teach kids when you're coaching them.
Exactly, because it's a fundamental of basketball. It's how you create separation. But most guys in the NBA, even if they're bad defenders, will become better defenders just by doing basic stuff of
Absolutely.
knowing when to switch off a pick. So to acknowledge, to think Harden is a top 5 player means you don't care about defensive basketball
It means
because
that
he's a bottom tier defender.
it's very weird how he put Steph Curry. He didn't include Curry on the list.
He didn't include anyone from the Golden State Warriors.
It was well, I mean, I wouldn't put Clay or Draymond Green in the
That's
top
fine.
5, right? So
but Steph Curry.
but you don't put the reigning MVP either, though.
Mhm.
Giannis.
Yeah.
You don't put him in there either. So it's
Well, yeah.
it's also his list. Every list is unique.
I always make fun of top
I
5,
used to
top
keep
10 lists.
KD off my top 5 list because I didn't like
which
him.
is insane.
Because I didn't like him. Because I found it because it would happen when he had his fake Twitter accounts. I was like, "Fuck this guy! I don't like him. He's off."
But so
Done.
Giannis, you can say that at this point in the NBA, you need to be a shooter. So Ben Simmons, Giannis, these guys
They're
are
not shooters.
they're gonna become shooters. So it's gonna happen.
Ben Simmons actually improved a lot in his
yeah,
shot.
absolutely.
Yeah,
And like the thing is Giannis even 24 yet? Can he rent
I
a
think
car?
he's 24 this
Can
year.
he rent a car
He
yet?
can. He just doesn't get the additional the cheaper insurance. He has to pay more
I don't think he cares.
because he's under 25. Yeah. So so my top 5 in no specific order. I have Giannis for sure. Kawhi. He didn't put Kawhi on the list.
That's another interesting.
Yeah.
The guy who single-handedly destroyed the dynasty.
Everybody. Yeah. So I think that's why he's a little butthurt about it. So I put LeBron, Kawhi, Giannis, Curry, and KD.
That's fair.
That's. I think you won't get a lot of arguments on that list.
Mhm.
You might be able to squeeze out if you take out Curry or if you take out Giannis, then you can throw in
The only reason I would
James Harden or maybe
again, I find all these lists to be a joke, but
arbitrary.
the thing is, like, so Giannis to me, how can you put Giannis below, let's say, Anthony Davis, when Anthony Davis is already a better shooter than he is, and we know Giannis
think
will be better
Anthony Davis is a better overall player than Giannis is?
at this point? Yes,
Yeah.
he's not as explosive.
Yeah. I mean, there's different ways.
The
The MVP isn't you're the best player. It's you're the most valuable player to your team.
which is
for that
but
season.
they never choose it that way.
But that's how it should be chosen. Like if you take yourself out of the team, what happens to that team?
Yeah,
And if you take James Harden away from the Rockets, what happens to that team?
they're not even a playoff team.
Exactly.
They-
But it's the same thing with the
I have
Bucks.
a feeling,
Same
by the
thing with
way,
Bucks.
they're maybe not a playoff team this year.
And it's the West. It's so hard to get in this year.
It's hard, and
Denver, Utah. Utah to me is their championship team.
It so far the Russ and Harden thing isn't looking
It
great.
doesn't look good so far. Dallas.
Dallas, Doncic is very good.
Luka looks unreal.
Yeah.
How many triple doubles does he have this year so far?
Lots.
We both burped at the same time.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
Very weird. Luka looks extremely focused, and I love how he talks shit. I watched 3 Dallas games this year just because of Luka.
He's amazing.
Yeah, and I'll watch more. And I'm on the Utah bandwagon this year. I think I might jump off. I'm gonna go right to Dallas, baby.
And a team that looks good in a way they did it is bizarre, is the Phoenix Suns.
Phoenix Suns. Well, they had they had 5 starters last year at one point.
It was
under,
the youngest
under 25.
starting 5.
All 5 were under 25, and yeah, so it was the youngest starting 5 you'll ever see.
Yeah.
So
Oh, it was the youngest starting 5 in the NBA last year.
yeah.
But
Trae
now they
Young,
moved
Booker.
Booker. They moved Booker over to a true 2 guard because now they have Rubio.
Oh yeah.
So Rubio's a very good distributor.
Yeah.
Never lived up to his potential, but he's still a solid
Still a great
NBA player.
Yeah. He was in the Minnesota and Sacramento after, I think.
Yeah.
Ricky Rubio is a very good player.
But back to KD being butthurt.
Yeah.
KD also made comments about Draymond Green being the reason he left. But
Yeah.
it's true. He was the reason he left.
Well, I think it was obvious when they had that blood. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, I'm not coming back.
He literally said, you can read his lips. He says, this is why I'm out.
Yeah.
And the thing is, now people get so upset when players change teams and so on. But like,
But Draymond's a
you and I,
fucking dick.
we work here at Hot Sauce, right? This is one of the things we do
Yeah.
with our time.
Yeah.
The reason we do it is because we like our work
It's fun.
environment. It's fun.
Yeah.
Why would you want to go to a work environment that was not fun? Right? So if you weren't having fun,
Oh
there-
yeah, I will never hate on a player for leaving a team. LeBron James, every time his contract's up, he bounces because he doesn't like the situation that he's in and he wants to be
and
successful.
he has the power to do so.
That's it, and he's able to bring guys along. KD still has that same power.
Mm-hmm.
So KD, abuse your power as much as you can. If you don't want to stay with Draymond Green and you don't have to, you don't have to. Draymond Green is clearly a fucking asshole.
It was surprising to me that the Warriors didn't preemptively tell KD, look, don't worry about it. You're a guy. We're going to ship Draymond next year. I don't know if it was because the injury.
To KD, he's like, I don't even want to. I don't even want to have the risk of you guys signing him again.
But
You know
they
what I
couldn't.
mean?
They couldn't have kept all 4.
They couldn't have kept off for it. So either way, but he's better off in Brooklyn. So I find. He's like, I'm gonna take a year off anyway. I'm not playing this year, so let me just take off a year. I'll be in Brooklyn, watch a few games. I'll come back 100% healthy. Every other injury is cleared. Kyrie is gonna have a full command of the team, and will maybe make a good run. Maybe sign another player. Maybe draft a really good player. So I think he likes the opportunity. He likes the potential of Brooklyn. That's why he went there. And that was more of a reason. Draymond Green was just like, I can't see myself playing with this guy anymore, so I'm out. Fuck it.
We're being yelled at for using the wrong background.
What do you mean?
I don't know. Our chief graffiziist has told us. Our top graphite has told us that we're using the.
He's right. I used episode 41.
This is episode 42. This is a lie. So Terry, I'll
No, I can talk to you from here.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, Katie's just an easy target
Yeah.
because he is so vocal and so on, and you hated the fact that the what's it called, the big Twitter accounts and so on.
Yeah.
But all the power to him. And
Of course. Fuck
I
him.
think what we want guys to be straightforward. We want athletes to actually say what's on their mind, and then we hate on them when they don't. So I have no beef with Katie. Terry, it is NHL season, however.
Love NHL season.
Best line in hockey, in your opinion, Bruins or Oilers?
You got to go with the Bruins, but the Bruins with 3-man. Oilers, that 2-man system they have going on, beauty. But the 3-man system that you see in Boston with Pasternak, Marchand, and Bergeron, I don't think I've ever seen anything as good as that ever. It's unbelievable.
It's very. I mean, the Oilers, of course, have the top end talent of Connor McDavid.
So I'll throw a stat at you. If at this point that line, they're averaging 5 points, okay, a night. That line is averaging 5 points a night. At the end of the year, they're on pace for like 400 points to split all three of them.
That's crazy.
It's over 100 points each.
They likely will not achieve that. Still,
I mean, if they do,
if you have 3 guys at 80, that's pretty awesome.
why wouldn't you? Like, why isn't it realistic? You know what I mean? Like, to me, it's fucking super realistic, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Why do you think teams do that though? Where certain teams focus on having trios, other teams sort of have like 2-man rotations. I remember the Montreal Canadiens at one point when they had all that young talent back when they had, you know, when Gallagher was young and we thought Galchenyuk would be an NHL player and so on. They use a pairing system rather than using, you know, their trios.
I mean, yeah. So a lot of guys do that. They'll have if you have one good center, one good winger, you just have a rotation at winger.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just you have your top 2 guys. So with Connor McDavid and Draisaitl, okay, last year they had 100 points each, over 100 points each. They didn't make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
How can you have 2 guys that give you 100 points each, and then the rest of your team is so bad?
Because the organization's incompetent.
They look a lot better this year.
They do.
They look great this year, actually.
It is early.
And
it is the part of the season where they typically look better than the year before.
It's true. But I feel a guy like Connor McDavid, who's probably the fastest player I've ever seen with the puck ever.
Mm-hmm.
Is he the best player with the puck? No. I mean, there's guys like Yager. You couldn't touch the puck.
People still can't touch the puck when Yager.
Oh no, it doesn't make sense. The guy,
Yeah.
if he has the puck on his stick, you're not touching it. You're not touching it.
He's still a professional hockey player.
Yeah, it's crazy. He's like 48.
Yeah, that's
And
insane.
he's in great shape. Single as fuck.
Yeah,
Just running through girls.
yeah.
Just like fuck it. I love. Did you remember the story? He
Wait.
slept with like this 18-year-old girl, and it was like a girlfriend of a kid that plays professional hockey in like Czech Republic or something, and she took a picture of him in bed, and she's like, she tried to extort him for money.
He's like, I don't care.
And he's like, I'm not married. Don't give a shit. So post it. It's like you're gonna look worse than I am. You know?
Yeah.
So it's just really.
You're hot. I have a mullet. So you're
The guy is
you're
a
losing.
beauty, man. He's a fucking beauty. And so the NHL is a lot different nowadays. You need to have a more balanced lines, but there's still a few of those teams that have like the couple stars that'll dominate. But that's why I don't know if the Oilers are built for the playoffs. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
They need they really.
I feel like you were saying that about the Bruins last year.
No, I never said that about the Bruins. I said it about Colorado. You keep on confusing me. I said it about Colorado. They only had one line, and they still only have one line.
Yeah.
And one of those pieces is gone, is injured. McKinnon, Landeskog, and Rantanen. Still one line. They have nobody else, and they're still doing well, and that's why they weren't successful in the playoffs. The Bruins have 4 lines, very good 4 lines.
Terry, you're a bigger fight fan than I am.
Yes.
I like UFC. I watch it.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm watching. I feel like when
Neither
you're
do
watching
I.
basketball.
Yeah. When I'm watching, why did he just do that? How did he give him the ball?
Why is there?
Don't you have to like walk and clap 4 times before you pass the ball?
But from my limited knowledge, it appears to me
Yeah.
Oregon Masvidal dominated that fight,
Ruined him.
start to finish.
My boy Nate Diaz.
Which and like his eye was cut. Like you can't argue that.
So the thing about Nate
It was pretty bad.
So this is for the BMF title, which is a useless belt.
It's amazing.
It's
All titles should be.
Okay,
the
so
BMF
now
title.
I'm on like these Facebook groups, like these fight Facebook groups and stuff like that, and they're always like, "Oh, the baddest motherfucker is Tyron Woodley. The baddest motherfucker is this." So the reason why they call themselves the baddest motherfuckers is because they're dumb. Nate Diaz and Masvidal are those types of guys that'll go in there, close their eyes, and start throwing punches, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they're bad motherfuckers because they don't give a shit about you. You have to have a screw loose in your head to be considered a bad motherfucker. And the guys that everybody they're saying like DC is a bad motherfucker. He's a very good fighter, but he's not a bad motherfucker. He's not like a tough motherfucker. And you knew Nate Diaz was that going into the fight, and you expected him to come back within the 4th and 5th round. Now, Masvidal made Nate Diaz look like he did not belong.
Like, he hits so goddamn hard.
And I feel bad for the ref that had to stop the fight.
It was the doctor
The doctor that stopped the fight.
He's getting death threats.
But he's an idiot, though. Because this is the reason why. In New York, the fight was in New York. New York is very new to MMA. It's been 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a year and a half. And they're huge in boxing, obviously. We know that, right? So this doctor stopped the fight because of how the fight was going, plus the cut. Not just the cut. So he's like, no, he's getting beat too much. Who are you to assess that? Who are you to say, are you a fight fan? Because in boxing you can do that. The doctor can do that. But in the UFC and MMA, it shouldn't happen.
And especially Nate Diaz is known to be a zombie, right? Like, he's known to...
He'll take every punch.
Like,
he walks right through them.
Yeah. But it just... I've never seen Nate Diaz in the fights I've watched of him. I've never seen him... Like, Masvidal was toying with him. He's laughing, pretending to be hurt.
Yeah,
you know,
Masvidal was very comfortable in that range.
Yeah,
very comfortable. And Nate Diaz was already one of the best boxers in MMA. Masvidal showed why he is the best boxer in MMA. Pure boxing, Masvidal is one of the best for sure, and he looked very good.
It was impressive. It's so rare, like at 34 years old, to now be a rising star, to literally have come out of nowhere. Nobody was talking about Masvidal 6 months ago. There was a flying knee, and now
so
this.
I knew about Masvidal a long time ago because I used to watch the Kimbo Slice backyard fights, and he was one of them.
I know him from that.
Yeah,
I know him from that. But like, he was never talked about as like
no,
a main event guy.
The last year he's really shot up after he knocked out Darren Till.
Yeah,
he knocked out Darren Till because Darren Till was kind of like on a rise, and he knocked him out. And then after that, it was like, all right, what's next? You know, and he just started running through people. And I don't think he's a title contender. I think he's a great fighter, but he's not.
He has
a
a BMF
contender
title.
Yet. He has a BMF title, that's for sure. So. And there's nobody's going to take that away from him.
Well, what's interesting is, the talk after they immediately asked him, and it sucks that we don't have any sound clips this week, but they immediately asked him about whether or not he would fight Conor McGregor. And
he's like that. I just slapped that dude up.
Yeah, he just basically
he's like, you guys want to kill that? He's like, you want to kill him?
Even Dana White says he's not enough man for me. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Dana White says he's not enough man. Like, I'm too much man for him. That's what
I've actually heard him previously, before this fight.
Yeah.
I've actually heard him say, like, he's like, yeah, I'd love to fight Conor Diaz. I want a payday that I don't have to do any work for.
That's it.
It's awesome.
But I don't think it's as easy as a fight as he thinks it is. Because Conor McGregor is extremely good.
Yeah, but so like, what weight are they fighting at?
170. They would fight at 170.
Yeah, so
Conor's fought at 170 twice against who? Nate Diaz. Got choked out once by Nate Diaz, and the other time he beat him by decision. He beat Nate Diaz by decision. Yeah. So, and Nate Diaz is one of my favorite fighters of all time. He's always been, always will be, since I saw him in The Ultimate Fighter. But he'll win fights because he has a chin, but he'll lose fights because he's a pure brawler, and if he fights against the guy,
fighter.
He boxing wise, yes, jiu-jitsu wise, yes, but when it comes to I don't know enough about striking to be able to explain it, but what I see with Nate is that a lot of his stuff doesn't come in power. Even the same thing with his brother. They don't throw 100%. Like Masvidal throws 100%. They'll throw 180% shots. Mm-hmm. Where Masvidal will throw 100% shots. You know what I mean? So
everything's a haymaker.
So he needs to be able to control the fight. If he can't control the fight, then he's done. And that's what happened, basically. But
so the thing with Masvidal is, and I don't understand the backlash. Like, I was excited watching a guy fight like this because the dude's legit just throwing haymakers.
Yeah.
Like he's playing Fight Night round 4 or whatever the last one was, and he's just hitting the haymaker over and over and over. That's what isn't that what you want? Isn't that what you want to watch?
Well, that's what people want to see. Yeah, for sure. No, people were complaining that they stopped it early, but they still went 3 rounds. The only reason why it was 5 rounds was because it was the main event. They went 3 rounds. That's a normal fight. 3 rounds is a normal fight. So he beat him for 3 rounds.
The third and fourth round.
He beat him for 3 rounds. No, it was at the end of the 3rd round.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he completed 3 full rounds.
Yeah. So he fought 3 full rounds, and he beat him 3 rounds. If anything, he had 1 round where he beat him by 2. He had a 10-8 round. 10-9, 10-9, 10-8. That's the way I scored it, and I had money on Diaz. You know what I mean? So just to say, it's people are saying, oh, they should run it back. They should not run it back. It was not an easy fight for Diaz, and it's not a fair fight for Diaz either. He made a couple million, Diaz, and I'm sure he's happy. But even he went on Twitter and he's like, rematch, fuck that, peace out, fight game. Like he's retiring.
Yeah,
he's not gonna retire.
He'll
Fight Conor a third time.
Yeah, why not?
Make another couple million.
Why not? Like the money is there for the taking. Why not?
Yeah.
And he won't get beat the same way he got beat.
I'd love to see his brother Nick come back, but I don't think that's happening anytime soon.
He's older though, right?
He's older. He's a couple years older, but he's also like one of the best. He's legit one of the best of all time.
Yeah, just the age catches everyone. Eventually.
Well, people forget how good Nick Diaz was, man, and people forget how good he fucking was. It's crazy. It's crazy. The people have short memories, and especially in UFC, short fucking memories. They don't realize how good some guys are, and then they'll follow a hype train. They'll follow Yoel Romero, and then he'll get fucking mollywopped by somebody because people, the media, not necessarily the media, in the UFC and MMA, it's you only fight twice a year, 3 times a year, maybe 4. Some guys are they like to fight a lot. They fight 4, but when you're at the top, you're fighting twice a year, I'd say. So those guys, if they have one good fight, it's all of a sudden it's like that's the next fight I want to see is this guy and this guy. So the media and the fans all pick the fights. Before it wasn't like that. Before it was the UFC chose all the fights and you watched it and you enjoyed it. Fuck you. And that's how I think it should be. All this BMF title, talking themselves into fights, it's becoming boxing, and that's what killed boxing. And I feel like they're getting to that point, and it sucks a bit, but I'm still gonna watch because I'm addicted.
Absolutely. Think it's time for rapid fire?
Yeah, let's do it.
So how do we do it now?
So just rip them off, and we'll do it from there.
All right, let's go. So rapid fire: Embiid versus Cat. We're doing the thing where I didn't read them in advance, so it's closest to Duke.
Yeah, so it's the fight. I'll put
video.
I'll put the fight in the
right.
in the post. I'll put the fight in the post.
Well, look, we all saw the fight. Both of them got a couple of games.
Yeah.
What's interesting is Cat has, because of Jimmy Butler's presence, Cat and Andrew Wiggins have since been considered to be soft because Jimmy Butler's a very, very intense basketball player.
Oh, yeah.
And he came in there, sort of criticized a lot of what they were doing.
Yeah.
And now in NBA circles, Cat's don't be soft. So, credit to him for going out there and defending himself. Interestingly, Ben Simmons was considered a peacemaker, even though he grabbed a dude by his throat in that fight.
It's very true. He grabbed him by the throat and literally manhandled him. And it was pretty. I'll post the fight, right?
Beat the double, helping Simmons with Towns. Here's Horford, blocked on the play. Wow, and look at this. Whoa! And Beat going at it with Karl Anthony Towns. And the bench is empty. My goodness.
What is going on? Ben's got him by the neck.
Towns is hot. And Embiid is up. He's in front of his bench.
You can see him right there. What is going on?
And then Embiid came in and double team, and those two remain in the backcourt. This is what ensued.
They're trying to pick up Joel, and Ben goes right after Cat.
Joel having some words with Mike Scott. Wow.
Take a look at it again.
And they are going to score the Tobias Harris basket, by the way.
Now you know where to put it. Kissing coaches.
So I don't know if you
Florida
saw this.
State coach kisses every player before every game.
Florida State's coach's wife. I put the wife in the wrong place. So Florida State's coach, Dan Mullen, his wife, Michelle Mullen, I think her name is Megan Mullen. It's with an M. She kisses all the players after every when they come off the bus.
So sexual harassment.
So she not makes out with them, but she kind of like hugs them and like gives them a peck on the cheek. But some guys she'll peck on the lips. It's people are like, it's a little creepy, and I kind of agree.
Yeah,
like at first I was like, she's just nice. She's hugging them, and then like she'll grab some of them, kiss them on the. I'm like, it's a little weird.
So the kids is the first thing.
They're 18. You know what are they thinking? She's a supportive mother? No, they're thinking maybe I can try and get in this shit.
Yeah.
I want to bang my coach's wife. That's what I'm trying to do.
And like, so the thing is, we often forget sports is a workplace,
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
this can't be appropriate at all.
Would
This
you-
isn't me being 2019. It just come on.
How
Just
about
don't
how
be
about,
dumb.
How about this? Let's use a comparison. How would you, if you're a parent, how would you like it if your son, your son's teacher's wife, right, not coach, your son's teacher's wife is standing at the door every morning and kissing them?
Yeah,
There's no affiliation to the school other than a marriage,
which isn't an affiliation.
which isn't an affiliation. It's just an affiliation to a person who's hired at the school, and doing that. So I see where the uproar is from, but I don't really care that much. Like, it doesn't bother me that much.
Yeah, like so. if
It's
it
not like
doesn't-
she's like full making out with them.
If it doesn't bother the players, that's fine. It's also it's a weird
course it
environment
doesn't
where
bother the
players
players.
aren't
They're walking
really
out with a
free to
boner.
say anything either. Yeah, it's true.
Because she's cute. She's pretty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like some players just might find it awkward and weird, right?
Yeah, it's true.
AB officially done with the NFL. He said NFL treats black people the worst, and then retracted a few hours later.
Yeah, because he's a fucking idiot, man. Because he's a fucking idiot. And I don't like talking about him.
AB, come to Miami. Come home. We love you. We can use you.
Ruin your career for the Dolphins, not
Tua-
by yourself.
Tua is going to need some weapons around
Oh my
him.
god.
And nothing's better for a young quarterback than Antonio Brown.
Then Antonio Brown, absolutely. We've seen that, right? Antonio Brown, just play football, man. That's it. He's trying too hard to make it about something else that it isn't.
Well, what I find interesting is a lot of people now saying, well, look, clearly Mike Tomlin was right. I'd be like, yeah, but Mike Tomlin's hands are shit. AB is so much better at what he
So
did
much better.
than Mike Tomlin.
So yeah, AB, fuck him. I really don't like talking about him anymore. I can't talk about this guy anymore.
AD to the Bulls.
Yeah.
Anthony Davis says he's a free agent. He's a free agent after the season. When asked if he'd ever consider joining the Chicago Bulls, he said basically, "Well, I'm a free agent next year, so who knows?"
Who knows?
It's an impossible situation. Like it's like a girl going up to Anthony Davis being like, "You think I'm cute?" He's not gonna be like, "No." He's just saying, "Yeah, you're cute."
But yeah, they basically said, do you see yourself playing here? And he's like, well, I'm a free agent at the end of the year. Who knows? Like, it's a very good comment to make, but I don't see why. Like he could have easily said like, oh, I'd love to play here. It's my hometown. But I'm like, we're building something good in LA, like something like that.
Is there a league that has as much conversation about the off season
As
than the
NBA?
NBA?
I don't think so.
It's insane.
And
We're
6 games in.
That's what I'm saying. We're not even 10 games. into the
6
season.
games in, and we're already talking about where AD's going to sign next year.
That's insanity.
How do you lose a championship? That's how you lose it. By creating distractions.
Well, but again, he didn't
He
create
didn't
a
do
distraction.
It wasn't his fault. He just answered
He asked the question, and again, like without context, because I did like everyone else. I read the headline, like, "Whoa, what's this?"
Yeah.
Then I saw the video and I was like, "This is stupid. This
Yeah.
isn't a story." That's where the media makes a story, Terry.
That's it.
That's what we were talking about earlier today. Terry, thank you for joining
Thank
me
you.
today. As always, thank you for doing double work because I'm useless with anything technological.
So am I.
So
I had to figure this shit out.
that's been awesome. Hopefully, you can edit it all together and make it look great.
Be up tomorrow morning.
Absolutely. Thank you. You've been listening to Hot Sauce Sports.